Guys, deluded Guna. Now, since this week started, I've been trying to avoid making a video like this. I thought it'd go away. I don't think there's much substance to this story, but it's pre-season. There's not much to talk about, so we might as well just humour each other. So here it goes. I've seen reports saying Wilshere isn't going to go on pre-season, the pre-season tour of Australia and China and Asia. Now, I don't know how to explain this, guys, but on one hand, I got two hands, obviously, not in a literal sense, but you get where I'm going. On one hand, while I have seen his videos that he posts on social media and things like that, he's running again and he's working in the gym again and things like that, but he's not at the level where he could probably compete in preseason with the other boys, joining in their sessions, etc., etc. So I do see the benefit of him staying behind. I mean, what's the point going on a plane? We all know planes. I don't know about you lot, but you've ever been on a plane and your feet start hurting? Planes and flying and flight times and stuff, especially a long haul flight to Asia, that Arsenal will be doing from London, obviously. That further risk, I'm no doctor, but that could aggravate the injury. I mean, look how long you'd be at that flight for in an uncomfortable position. If he's wearing a boot still, I don't think he is, but if he has to wear a boot when travelling and things like that, it could be a precaution. And I do believe pre-season starts next week or first week of July or whenever. So yeah, on one hand, I can see why he'd be staying behind, but on the other hand, which concerns me more, it's a case of yes, he might not be able to play, but I'm sure you guys are staying at a place where there's numerous availability to equipment and gyms and stuff. He could be put on a separate program when the other guys are training and doing whatever they're doing in preseason. He's doing a separate thing, like like what would be happening if they stayed at the base for the training ground for preseason. What would happen? So I don't see why he couldn't go and do that. Obviously, the contract business. I mean, you could read that as he's not involved in the plans. I wouldn't read too much into that, but you could take that as he's not involved in the plans for next year. He's not involved in the group. I mean, preseason's about togetherness, about coming back together, seeing where we went wrong. Obviously, if they're bonding in Asia, living it up, and he's here stuck with the lesser young players who didn't get to go. The top player or young players obviously get to go on tour with the first team in preseason. So the average slash guys that didn't get called up, and the other injured players or players that are possibly might not go, might be surplus to requirements, but might go or might not necessarily go on the preseason tour. Joel Campbell, Lucas Perez, etc., etc. So that he runs the risk of being isolated and away from everyone. That could lead. We all know being injured is a lonely place. The physio room in the gym is a lonely place. So if he's there over summer, it's gonna hurt more. Like I said, the contract business. He sees everybody in preseason and they're all firing the midfielders, scoring goals and looking good in preseason, and he's there and with his contract got a year to run or whenever. It leaves cause for concern. I mean, I don't know how I feel about this one, to be honest, guys. You guys know how much I love Jack Wilshere, and I want to see him. He's 25 years of age, and part of me thinks he's never going to get it right now. I mean, we all know the whole potential business is out the window, but at best he could have a career, be a household name, and get fit. I mean, he just needs a bit of luck. I'd never like to see any player injured constantly breaking down. It's people's health, it's their profession. This can lead to depression. So I'd never like to see any young pro or professional footballer going through these things, much less someone like Jack Wilshere, who I've seen come from the youth sides to first team and someone that I love as a footballer very much. I hope he gets past these injury problems, but it's got to a point where you almost expect them because he can get up fit and running, but it's the minute he gets touched, there's cause for concern. Even to the aftermath of the when he got injured at Spurs, he was actually fit and fine. He's playing okay in that game. Then he got written off. So it's a trust thing. I've spoken about that. If you haven't seen already, just type in Jack Wilshere and go and look at my videos, my name and Jack Wilshere, and go and find that stuff. But guys, there's not much more to be said on that front. Deluded Gooner, I'm signing out. Not to waffle. Comment, subscribe, share the video. Thank you very much for watching.